In today's episode, we are creating festive Christmas decorations using Dollar Tree tumbling tower blocks. I hope you enjoy! For this project, we're starting off with 10 of Dollar Tree's tumbling tower blocks. I like to line mine up to make sure they're all the same length because sometimes some are a little bit shorter than others, like this one at the bottom. So I will replace that one with one that is the same length. Using a square, I can make sure they're all lined up on one side. I'll be using a ruler. My ruler is about 7/8 of an inch wide. I can place this on the left hand side and make a mark all the way down so each of these sections on the left will be 7/8 of an inch wide. Because I'll be using wood glue and it takes a little while for that to set up, I'm going to set this on a wooden board, or you could use a piece of cardboard, just so that you'll be able to move this out of your way if you want to work on another project while the glue is setting up. And I'm also setting this on wax paper to make sure that my pieces don't glue to the cutting board. I'll set 5 on one side and 5 on the other, and I'm going to be placing some glue so that I can glue them like this. So you just want to place your glue on the left hand side of where you made your pencil mark and glue your next piece lined up with your pencil mark like this. Repeat that process with the other 3 blocks so that the left hand side will look like this, making sure that you press it firmly where you have applied all of the wood glue. Then start on the other 5. You'll want to turn these around so that the 7/8 of an inch mark is now on your right hand side so that you can glue these just like you glued the first set, but it's going in the opposite direction. While those pieces are setting up, I'm going to use 3 more blocks. We're going to glue these end to end and then glue one on each side of the one in the center. This will be the base for our wooden Christmas tree. You'll want to make sure that you allow sufficient enough time for all of the glue to set up, because we want to attach the 2 side pieces to one another with some wood glue at the top. Just make sure that you put that on both of the edges and allow that to set up. Now we can glue this to the base, applying some wood glue at the very edge on the bottom of both of the sides. To reinforce it, I'll add a little bit of hot glue at the very top and the outside edges on each side of the tree, and allow time enough for that to set up. I decided I wanted the base of the tree to set up a little bit higher, so I am going to glue 3 more tumbling tower pieces together and allow that glue to set up. And I'm also going to glue a wooden star from Dollar Tree to the very top. I can then glue the 3 pieces to the base of the tree like this and allow that to set up. This is how it's looking so far now that all of the glue is dry. This is absolutely adorable. Now you could paint yours whatever color you want. I'm going to paint mine with a watered down brown acrylic paint mixture, which creates a little bit of a stained look. And I'm going to paint this entire piece and allow that to dry. Now that everything is dry, it is time to decorate it, and you have several different options. You could use a larger size bell to place in the center, or 2 different colored bells that have different lengths, or you could even use one of these ornaments from Dollar Tree, and I really like this one. So first, I am going to glue a little bit of greenery to the very top of the base of the tree, and then take a little extra piece of that greenery to glue on the very end to kind of cover that up. Then I can hold my sign up to determine how far I want it to hang down, and I can glue this on the back side up towards the star. And if you like, you could even add some red berries for even more color. For this project, I'm using a square to line up Dollar Tree tumbling tower pieces. I'm going to place 5 going up and 4 going across, and then fill that in using a total of 20 pieces. I'm going to glue all of these together, making sure that I press them firmly, and I have this sitting on wax paper so that the wood glue, if it does seep through, will not glue the blocks to my table. And if I have any glue seeping through at the top, I'll make sure to wipe that off with a dry paper towel, or you could use a wet wipe. So it's going to look something like this. While that's setting up, I am going to create another set exactly like it, so I'm using a total of 40 tumbling tower blocks for these two sets. For the next set, I'm gluing 9 tumbling tower pieces together going straight up, and I'll make 2 sets of those, so that'll be a total of 18. And take this opportunity to wipe any of the glue seepage coming out. That way it'll be a little less sanding that you'll have to do later on. Using 12 blocks, I'm going to glue 3 end to end going straight up, 3 across the bottom, and 3 going straight up on the right hand side, and 3 across the top. So once glued, it will look like a frame. For the next section, we're going to do the same thing. 3 high, 3 across, 3 high at the end, but we're actually going to fill the entire center in, so it will be a total of 33 blocks, and once they're all glued together, it should look like this. Once you have allowed sufficient enough time for the wood glue to set up, lightly sand over each of these pieces to remove any residual glue, and make sure to wipe each one of them down. Using a white acrylic paint, I'm going to apply 2 coats to each of these pieces, but only on the tops and some of the sides. So once dry, this is what I've painted white. Everything on the frame except for the back side. The large piece with 33 blocks, I painted the front and the 2 shorter sides, not the longer sides or the back. The 2 sets of 9 are only painted on the top, and the 2 sets of 20 each are painted on the top and all of the sides. Using a black acrylic paint, I only want to paint the center section of the 2 sets of 20, and then the back side of the 2 sets of 9 and the largest piece. The reason I'm not painting some sections is because I will be attaching these pieces together using wood glue, and that only works properly if you put it on raw wood and not painted wood. Once all of the paint has dried, we can now attach these pieces together using wood glue. Starting with the largest piece, we're going to take the 2 sets of 9 and glue these at the very edge, one on each side, making sure that the black painted part is facing inward. Then we're going to be gluing the frame to the top of these 2 sides, making sure to keep everything lined up and that the white painted part is facing you. So it should be looking something like this. Now we're going to glue one of the sets of 20 to the bottom of this box flush to the back side, applying a bit of pressure to make sure that the glue gets a good seal, and then glue the other set of 20 on the top flush to the back side as well, all making sure that the black painted part is facing inward and not outward. Now that the glue has completely set up, this is how it's looking. This is a mini fireplace. It is so precious, but now we've got to go back and touch up some of the white paint, get underneath the mantle and right at the bottom, like where the hearth is. Just take a couple of coats of white paint to cover that up. Now that all of the paint is dry, I made a mark towards the bottom on the back side so that I'll be able to drill a hole through, and I'll be able to put some fairy lights in. I'm also using some of these half pieces of wood from Hobby Lobby. This was a candle wrap that I just cut apart, but you could use wood from Dollar Tree. I'm going to start by feeding the fairy lights through the hole, and then I can start gluing my wood pieces down and wrapping the lights around it as I glue and stack them on top of one another. Once finished, you could decorate this for every holiday. I'll be decorating mine with a couple of bottle brush trees, a Santa, a sleigh, as well as a floral pick. For this project, we're starting off with 10 tumbling tower blocks and using some wood glue. We're going to glue them edge to edge like this. Using a ruler, I want to keep the space at the bottom around 2 inches. You want to make sure that you apply your wood glue on the edge of each piece. We're going to create 5 sets of these and allow the wood glue to dry. Once dry, they should look like this, and we're going to be gluing them to form the shape of a star. Apply the wood glue to the edges of each of these sets. I have this on wax paper as well as a cutting board. You'll want a sturdy surface for them to sit on. Once you've glued all of the edges, press them together firmly. Go back and add a little bit of wood glue to each of the inside and outside edges where all of the pieces meet. Make sure to adjust the shape of your star and allow that to completely dry. Once the glue sets up, you'll still be able to move them around a little bit. So to reinforce that, add some hot glue to each of the inside and outside edges where all of the pieces meet. Once your hot glue cools down, lightly sand over those areas to smooth them out. Paint yours the color of your choice. I'm going to paint mine with 2 coats of a white acrylic paint on all sides and allow that to dry. Now it's time to decorate it. I'll be using 2 of these mini bells. I chose a red one and a green one, as well as some gold braided cording. I'm going to tie a simple knot through the hook at the top of the bell, add a little bit of hot glue to reinforce that so that the knot doesn't come apart, and do that for both bells. I want them to hang at different lengths, so I'm going to hold this up behind the star to see exactly where I need to place my glue on the back side. I'll also add a little bit of glue on top of the cording to reinforce that. Then I'm going to tie a knot at the end of the cording, and I'll be able to use this to hang the star up. Using some thin red ribbon, I'm going to make a simple bow to glue to the top. You could leave the tails long or cut them short. For this project, I'm using 11 tumbling tower pieces. I'm painting them with a watered-down brown acrylic paint mixture to give them a stained look. I'm also using a wooden star from Dollar Tree and painting it on both sides, allowing all of these to dry. Using Mary, Joseph, and Baby Jesus from a wooden nativity set from Dollar Tree, I'm going to dry brush these with a white acrylic paint, and I don't want full coverage. I do want a little bit of that wood to show through. Using one of these signs from Dollar Tree, it has a faux wood background to it, but if you can't find one, you could always use some scrapbook paper with a faux wood background. The outside measurements are roughly 7 3/4 of an inch square. I'm going to measure and mark roughly the center so that I'll know exactly where to place the first tumbling tower piece. I'm going to hot glue this with the skinny side down. Then I'll glue one on each side, so it should be looking something like this. Then I'm going to glue one above the end piece going straight up and another one above that, like this. And then I'll repeat that on the opposite side. For the final 4 blocks, I want 2 on each side, going at an angle to create the peak of the roof. And once I know exactly where I want them, I'm going to glue them down. Then I can glue the star at the very top and figure out my placement for Joseph, Mary, and Baby Jesus and glue each one of those down. I did leave a little bit of space because I want to take some Spanish moss and glue that down right above the tumbling tower pieces. Now all that's left to do is trim up the moss, and this is how it turned out. I hope you enjoyed today's projects, and if you have a favorite, let me know in the comments section down below because I always love to know which one is your favorite. If you haven't subscribed already, I would love for you to click that subscribe button right below the video. Thank you so much for spending time with me today. Please take care, and I'll see you guys next time.